You've been lied to about Tanjiro Kamado. From episode 1, we're sold this soft-eyed, pure-hearted boy as the perfect embodiment of goodness, a hero who cries for his enemies, who refuses hatred, who forgives the unforgivable. But what if I told you, Tanjiro isn't the saint we think he is, that he's actually the most terrifying product of Demon Slayer, a monster forged by tragedy, masquerading as an angel of compassion. Today, I'm going to dissect Tanjiro Kamado, and you'll understand why this good boy might be the most dangerous character in the entire series, because beneath that tender facade lurks a killing machine. Programmed by grief, an emotional time bomb who never really had a choice in becoming the hero we admire so much. Buckle up, this is going to hit hard. The making of a monster. Let's rewind to the beginning. Tanjiro Kamado, eldest son of a modest family living in the mountains. A normal kid with adult responsibilities, sure, but normal. He sells charcoal to feed his family, takes care of his younger siblings, has a freakishly developed sense of smell that lets him predict weather changes. Cool party trick, but nothing crazy. And then, in a single night, everything shatters. Muzan Kibutsuji, the Demon King, strolls by like he's passing a vending machine and decides to slaughter his entire family. Not for some cosmic reason, not because the Kamados posed a threat. Nope, just because he could. Because in the Demon Slayer universe, absolute evil doesn't need a reason. Tanjiro comes home to find pure horror. His mother, his brothers, his sisters, all drowning in their own blood. Only Nezuko survives, but transformed into a demon. And here, pay attention, this is the pivotal moment that defines everything about this character. Faced with trauma that would shatter anyone, Tanjiro doesn't break down. He doesn't scream at the moon, swearing revenge like Sasuke. He doesn't descend into madness like Guts. No, he compartmentalizes. He puts his sister on his back and he moves forward. Beautiful, right? Touching, even. Except it's not, because what you just witnessed isn't resilience. It's the birth of emotional dissociation. Tanjiro doesn't process his trauma, he buries it. He locks it away in a corner of his mind and gives himself a mission: protect Nezuko and kill Muzan. From this moment on, Tanjiro Kamado doesn't really exist as a person anymore. He becomes a function, an algorithm with two parameters: save and destroy. The compassion paradox. Now let's talk about what makes Tanjiro's signature move, his legendary kindness. This kid cries for the demons he decapitates. He acknowledges their lost humanity. He offers them compassion in their final moments, and everyone thinks it's beautiful. Look how pure he is. Look how he refuses hatred. But let's pump the brakes for a second. Let's analyze what this actually means. Tanjiro kills demons. That's his job. He hunts them down, cuts them up, eliminates them. But before finishing them off, he takes time to say, "I understand your suffering. You didn't choose to be a monster. Rest in peace." What is that? Empathy? Or a twisted form of moral superiority that lets him convince himself he's not like them, that he remains good despite the rivers of blood he spills? Take Rui, the spider demon. This kid was transformed against his will, lost his family, tried to recreate artificial family bonds out of desperation. Tanjiro kills him but offers a comforting vision of his mother before he disappears. It's touching, it's beautiful, but it's also profoundly selfish, because this compassion changes nothing for Rui. He still dies. It doesn't save him. It doesn't fix anything. No, this compassion exists for Tanjiro himself, so he can look in the mirror and say, "I'm not a killer. I'm one of the good guys." It's a psychological crutch, a defense mechanism to avoid facing the truth. He's become exactly what the system wanted him to become, a weapon. And the worst part? It works. Tanjiro never questions the Demon Slayer core. Ever. Even when he discovers the organization sacrifices children, that it sends 13-year-olds to die on suicide missions. that it's run by a guy hiding behind centuries-old traditions, Tanjiro nods and carries on, because he doesn't have the luxury of doubt. Doubt is what could shatter him completely. The reluctant Messiah. Now let's talk about what makes Tanjiro truly dangerous. His magnetism. This guy attracts people like a magnet. Zenitsu, a suicidal coward, becomes his best friend. Inosuke, a feral kid raised by wild boars, sees him as a brother. Kanao, an emotionally dead shell of a girl, finds her voice because of him. Even Giyu Tomioka, the water pillar known for being a walking ice block, ends up bonding with him. Why? Because Tanjiro has a superpower nobody ever mentions. He sees the best in you, even when you can't see it yourself. Beautiful, right? Except it raises a horrifying question. Does Tanjiro do this out of natural goodness, or because he needs others to be good to justify his own fight? Think about it. Tanjiro refuses to see Nezuko as a monster. He refuses to kill her, despite orders, despite logic, despite the danger she represents. Why? Because she's his sister? Sure, but also because if Nezuko is just a monster, then everything he's endured was meaningless. His entire mission rests on the idea that humanity can be preserved, that demons were human, that even Muzan, somewhere deep in his rotten soul, might have been human once. If this belief collapses, Tanjiro collapses with it. That's why he clings so desperately to compassion. It's not wisdom, it's psychological survival. And the most twisted part? It works. Nezuko eventually overcomes her demon intimidation, not through some miracle cure, not through science, but because Tanjiro believed hard enough. Pure shonen energy, sure, but also deeply unhealthy, because it means Tanjiro carries on his shoulders the emotional weight of his sister's humanity. If she'd failed, it wouldn't have been her fault, it would have been his. What kind of inhuman pressure is that? The price of the Hinokami Kagura. Now let's talk technique, because yes, Tanjiro is strong, extremely strong, but at what cost? The Hinokami Kagura, passed down through generations in the Kamado family, isn't just a breathing technique. It's a cursed inheritance. A weapon forged by Yoriichi Tsugikuni, the man who almost killed Muzan 400 years ago, and who, in an act of mercy or naivety, let the Demon King escape. Tanjiro inherits this power, not by choice, by family obligation. His father, Tanjiro, passed this dance to him before dying, not as a gift, as a burden. And what does Tanjiro do with this power? He uses it to exhaustion, until his bones break, until he coughs up blood, until he loses an eye, until he brushes with death again and again. Against Rui, he literally fractures his legs to decapitate the demon. Against Akaza, he keeps fighting with broken ribs. Against Muzan, he battles for hours in a condition that would have killed any normal human. Why? Because he has no choice. Because if he stops, everyone dies. Bezuko dies. His friends die. The entire world gets devoured by demons. Tanjiro doesn't fight because he's brave. He fights because he's trapped. A prisoner of a destiny forced on him the night his family was massacred. And here's where it gets really dark. Tanjiro accepts this role. He never rebels. He never cries out at the injustice. He never asks, "Why me?" He just grits his teeth and pushes forward. It's admirable, it's heroic, but it's also profoundly tragic. Because Tanjiro never got the chance to just be a teenager. He went straight from big brother to sacrificial messiah. The demon transformation, the ultimate betrayal. And then comes the moment nobody saw coming. After defeating Muzan, after sacrificing everything, after losing an eye, functional use of an arm, and being on death's doorstep, Muzan, in one final act of pure evil, transforms Tanjiro into a demon. The hero becomes the monster, the one who spent years protecting humanity, crying for demons, refusing hatred, becomes the very thing he fought against. And this isn't a metaphor. Demon Tanjiro attacks his friends. He tries to kill Zenitsu. He tries to kill Inosuke. He tries to kill Nezuko. It's a scene of unspeakable cruelty, because we know that somewhere inside, Tanjiro is aware. He's fighting himself. He's screaming internally to regain control, but he can't. And here we touch the heart of Demon Slayer's message. No one is safe from becoming a monster. Even the purest, kindest, most compassionate hero can be corrupted. Fortunately, Nezuko and Kanao manage to inject him with the cure that brings him back to humanity. But that moment, that brief instant when Tanjiro was a demon, that's the naked truth of this character. He was never invincible. He was never infallible. He was always one hair's breadth away from losing everything. And that's the tragic beauty of Tanjiro Kamado. The legacy of sacrifice. So what's left after all this? Tanjiro survives. He loses his eye. His arm doesn't work properly anymore. He'll never wield a sword again. But he survives. Nezuko becomes human again. Zenitsu and Inosuke are alive. The Demon Slayer core is dissolved. Muzan is dead. It's a victory, technically. But at what cost? Tanjiro has no family left except Nezuko. He has no home. He has no future as a fighter. At 16, he's already a broken veteran, a survivor of a war he never wanted to fight. And yet, in the epilogue, we see him smile. We see him living a peaceful life with Kanao. We see their descendants, generations later, living in a world without demons. It's a happy ending. It's what everyone wanted. But if you look closely at Tanjiro's eyes in those final pages, you'll see something nobody ever mentions. He's exhausted, not physically, emotionally, spiritually. Tanjiro won the war, but he lost a part of himself in the process. That innocence, that naivety, that ability to believe in a better world. All of it was consumed in the flames of the Hinokami Kagura. What remains is a man who survived, not a hero, a survivor. The hero we sacrificed. So who is Tanjiro Kamado, really? Is he the pure, noble hero everyone admires? Or is he a victim of the system? A child soldier wrapped in a blanket of compassion so we're more comfortable with his sacrifice? The truth is, he's both. Tanjiro is a hero, yes, but he's also the product of a world that grinds up innocence and turns kindness into a weapon. A world where being good isn't enough, where you also have to be willing to kill, to suffer, to lose yourself. And maybe that's the real message of Demon Slayer, that heroes aren't born, they're forged, in pain, in blood, in tears, and that in the end, even if they win, they're never quite the same. Tanjiro Kamado saved the world, but who will save Tanjiro? There you have it. I hope this analysis made you see Tanjiro from a different angle. This boy presented as a saint is actually one of the most poignant tragedies in modern shonen. A hero who never had a choice. A messiah who never asked to be worshipped. And maybe that's why we love him so much, because deep down, we all know we would have cracked long before he did.